Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Just going to give another minute or two for people to join and then we'll get started. All right, well, hi everyone, and welcome to Making Conservation Happen webinar series hosted by the Ocean Project. This is the 8th webinar in the series, and we'll cover youth activism for conservation, how to empower young people to become ocean champions. So to start, my name is Rachael Coccia. I joined the Ocean Project in February of last year after completing my master's in marine conservation and policy from Stony Brook University. As Director of Youth Initiatives, I help to manage the World Oceans Day Youth Advisory Council, amplify and connect youth programs at our various zoo and aquarium partners, and participate in other collaborative youth-focused conservation programs. Our two guest speakers today will be Rachael Bell-Irving and Danni Washington. Rachael graduated from the University of Guelph with a Bachelor of Arts in Sciences, where she specialized in a unique mix of zoology and classical studies. With several years of informal education experience ranging, Rachael's current role as Digital Outreach Coordinator for OceanWise focuses on online education and outreach initiatives. Danni is the first African-American woman to host her own science television show called Exploration Nature Knows Best, which is a STEM educational TV show syndicated nationwide on Fox and Amazon Prime. In 2017, Danni was selected as one of the 10 young rising innovators who was profiled in CA Technology's #STEM10 initiative. Most recently, Danni served as a spokesperson of the nation's largest celebration of STEM at the USA Science and Engineering Festival in Washington, D.C. A graduate of the University of Miami with a degree in marine science and biology, she is also the co-founder of The Big Blue and You, a scuba diver, co-creator of Sea Youth Rise Up, inspirational speaker, digital influencer, and just overall lover of the outdoors. Now, if you have any questions throughout, please feel free to use the Q&A on the Zoom app, and we will make sure that we get to those questions at the end of the presentation. Now, since most of what we do here at the Ocean Project is behind the scenes, I just want to open with a brief overview of our 3 priority initiatives so you can see how youth fits into this overall mission. One initiative is our collaborative conservation campaigns, where we partner with leading zoos, aquariums, and others to improve public engagement and increase the number and impact of their conservation efforts. Another is World Oceans Day, which we started growing in 2002 to raise the profile of the ocean and rally the world every June 8th with expanded involvement in campaigns year-round. And the third initiative, which we'll focus on today, is to accelerate youth engagement and leadership worldwide. So why focus on youth? Well, I'm sure most of you understand the importance of engaging youth as your current and future guests, but also as influencers in their families. However, the potential that they have spans so much deeper than that. Research conducted by the Ocean Project underscores the importance of engaging younger generations in conservation. This, by the way, was the most comprehensive opinion research that had been conducted on public attitudes, perceptions, and knowledge of the ocean at the time. The findings did show that youth not only have a higher level of awareness of ocean-related issues, but they also have a higher likelihood to modify their behaviors and engage in advocacy than adults. It also found that aquariums and zoos are viewed by youth as the best source of information about ways to protect and conserve the ocean. So young people have this unique, largely untapped ability to take your conservation efforts to the next level. The motivation that they have comes from such a pure and authentic place. They simply just want to stand up for their future and ensure that they're given the same opportunities as past generations to enjoy nature and raise a family without needing to fear environmental shutdown. And as a trusted institution, you have the ability to provide opportunities that support youth in their journey, but also harness that energy to in turn support your own mission. And young people crave this sense of community, which is something you can provide them by developing more engaging youth programs and leadership councils. So for example, the World Oceans Day Youth Advisory Council consists of 24 members from 20 different countries, and they come together to work and develop large-scale solutions and projects that can be shared around World Oceans Day, but also used year-round. We're going to be releasing new youth-developed resources from the council later this month, actually. So stay tuned for that as a way to encourage your youth to start taking more of a leadership role at your zoo or aquarium. But this is just one piece to the puzzle. Youth also need to learn new skills, grow their networks, and be inspired to think of innovative solutions. One of the best ways you can provide this for your youth without increasing your personal workload, which we know is really important, is to connect them to national and international leadership opportunities. By participating in an event like Sea Youth Rise Up or Ocean Heroes Boot Camp, they'll return to your institution with an increased knowledge, better equipped with tools and resources that they need, and also connected to a network of supporters and fellow peers that will keep them motivated. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Danni Washington to talk to us about Sea Youth Rise Up.
All right, good morning and good afternoon for our East Coasters. My name is Danni. It's really a pleasure to be here today. I'm very proud to be representing Sea Youth Rise Up, a program that was co-created by Bill Mott, the executive director of the Ocean Project, Sean Russell, the founder of the Youth Ocean Conservation Summit, and myself, when we came together about 3 years ago to explore ideas on how our organizations could collaborate to create a unique initiative that would elevate the role of young people in the ocean conservation space. So Sea Youth Rise Up creates catalysts for change and provides a platform for youth to express their ideas and magnify their environmental advocacy efforts. And based on this, brainstorming between the three individuals, we came up with this concept that would be a form of radical collaboration where we could bring together our organizations and not necessarily create a whole new entity, but provide a platform for the young people that we had noticed within our work that were charismatic, willing to engage, very vocal about what they were passionate about. And we wanted to provide a space for them to meet one another, as well as talk about real actual change that we need to see in the ocean conservation space. So the three main gateways to enhance youth involvement within any conservation effort should begin with exposure, mentorship, and access. And these are three elements that we've infused into Sea Youth Rise Up, because by exposing young people to new learning experiences and useful information, they're able to feel empowered with a new sense of knowledge. Mentorship is a critical aspect of Sea Youth Rise Up because it provides opportunities for select groups of youth leaders to connect with prominent individuals in the space, which eventually becomes the key tool. And then access to leadership roles and public platforms to express their fresh perspectives about the state of the ocean is also crucial. This opens the doors to productive conversations about real solutions for our biggest challenges. So in 2018, 7 youth ocean conservation leaders representing 6 states were selected to travel to our nation's capital to advocate for one unified mission, Sea Youth Rise Up. So like I mentioned, exposure is one of the first greatest elements. And I know from my own personal experience, as a teenager, I had some wonderful mentors who exposed me to opportunities and different experiences that really shaped who I am today. So by exposing our youth delegates to, first of all, going to Washington, D.C., to our nation's capital is a really big deal. For many of the delegates, this is their first time traveling there. And in 2018, on World Oceans Day, our delegates visited the office of Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, and they led an inspiring meeting with the U.S. Senate Ocean Caucus on Capitol Hill. And this experience in itself is major because it allows these young people to see that the doors of Capitol Hill are open to them as American citizens, that they are welcome to go inside and hold meetings with their state's representatives and congressmen. So for many of the delegates sitting at the table in all 3 years of this program, it was the first time for them to have an experience like this. And when they realize this and they realize that they have the ability to speak up about issues that matter to their local communities and directly engage with our nation's policymakers, there's a really deep sense of empowerment that is instilled in them. Of course, there is a general sense of excitement and nervousness leading up to this meeting. But once settled in a space, we've witnessed tremendous leadership by the delegates who speak clearly and passionately about ocean conservation. With the help of Tom Adams, who is a policy advisor to the Ocean Project, our delegates are equipped with relevant knowledge about real legislation impacting our oceans. In addition to our Capitol Hill visit, during the See Youth Rise Up experience, we also host a live broadcast. And so we've played with a couple of different platforms. This past year in 2018, our See Youth Rise Up delegates shared their missions for change through a live broadcast that reached an international audience of over 6,000 people through Facebook Live. And so we were at the Ocean Foundation headquarters in Washington, D.C., and all of our delegates created their own speech, short form, and then they all took on questions and answers at the end for those who were viewing, but really just sharing their idea of what solution would be most valuable for their communities to implement to help create change. And during our inaugural year, we utilized another social platform when we hosted our live Google Hangout from the New York Aquarium, which attracted an online audience from 12 different countries, including Greece, Pakistan, the Bahamas, Romania, Canada, Germany, Curacao, India, Somalia, United Kingdom, Montserrat, and of course, the United States. The same year, we reached a social media audience of 208,000 people, accounts through our tweets and our Facebook posts. The other aspect of the program is each year we capture footage of the entire experience with a professional videographer following the delegates throughout their adventure. The recap video is an essential aspect of the program because it allows our delegates to learn how to successfully engage in digital storytelling and on-camera interviewing skills. Plus, the video is a great way to amplify their efforts far beyond the few days that they spend together. And I encourage you to definitely visit our website if you'd like to see our latest recap video. Just go to seeyoutriseup.org, and it's only a few minutes, and it'll give you a real, well-rounded view and glimpse into their full experience. So our second aspect is mentorship, and this to me is really the heart of See Youth Rise Up, because we've seen so many beautiful things develop after the delegates experience this initiative, because now they're connected to the people that they admire, that they have been researching, or they've watched their work. And just the simple act of making that connection, I think, is extremely powerful. So each year we host the Social for the Sea, where the delegates have a more laid back, casual social experience with their peers and marine conservation mentors. So in 2018, the Social for the Sea was hosted by notable leaders like Philippe Cousteau, pictured here, sea turtle biologist Christine Figner, cartoonist Jim Toomey, and other professionals in the space. The evening was co-sponsored by the United Nations Environment and hosted by the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. The Social for the Sea offers a fun and a relaxed time for our delegates to have one-on-one conversations with folks like Jared Curry, who's the senior marketing manager at the Ocean Foundation. It's really fun. We have refreshments, and we usually have a presentation at one point. But the other powerful part is peer-to-peer mentorship, and they're able to speak to local youth leaders from that particular area who are also involved, and it's just a really, really fun night. And then on certain instances, we have opportunities to interact with our ocean elders, like Her Deepness Dr. Sylvia Earle. This was in 2017 in New York at the World Ocean Festival. And then they also have access to some of our leading scientists who are doing groundbreaking research. So in 2018, the delegation had a VIP tour of the Ocean Plastics Lab, which was placed directly in the middle of the National Mall in Washington, D.C., out of a few shipping containers. And they met with the leading scientists who are studying the global impacts of plastic pollution. And this last picture about, this was 2017, where we kicked off the campaign at the Central Park Zoo, which was hosted by the Wildlife Conservation Society. This was our other social for the sea. And I put this picture in because it really shows the power of peer mentorship, where the young people that came together, none of them knew each other for the most part, and they were meeting mostly for the first time. And yet there was this energy, there was a dynamic connection, because all of them shared this passion for the ocean, and they were able to relate to one another in that way and just have fun and encourage one another. So the third aspect, access. Access is all about giving, making that door open for our young people. Give them an opportunity to be in spaces where you normally would not see young people sharing their ideas. So we want to give them access to the stage, the quote unquote stage. Here in 2018, our delegate Kai Beatty was speaking to hundreds of people at the March for the Ocean. And this was a powerful moment because they had basically a day and a half to prepare for this moment. They came together and all 7 delegates had to decide what they were going to talk about, what was the key point, and how they could do it within a matter of a couple of minutes to make their message poignant and powerful. And this was one of my favorite moments last year, because we saw that they were able to rile up the crowd, get them excited, and spark new life into the movement. We also want to make sure that, again, they're given access to factual and cutting edge information. So many things are changing in the ocean and just within our natural environment so quickly. And it's important that we are able to keep them up to date and ready and equipped with real-time information. Again, access to historic events like March for the Ocean is really powerful. This was the first March for the Ocean ever. And for them to be there to take the stage was, from what they told us, was very, very meaningful. In 2017, the delegation attended the World Oceans Festival in New York on Governor's Island. And this is where they led their own mini ocean advocacy march. And it highlighted solutions to critical ocean conservation issues through a youth rally for the ocean. And pictured here is Hannah Testa, as well as Ben May, who Ben May was a part of our first year delegation, and Hannah was a part of our 2017, our second year delegation. We also saw lots of different expressions of creativity. Members of Heirs to Our Oceans from the Bay Area performed an original song at the World Ocean Festival on stage, and just felt this sense of freedom to express themselves and to share their thoughts. And throughout the experience, we also seek access to media and to help them develop interviewing skills. So on the spot, you know, interviews are, it's such an important skill to have as someone who wants to advocate for the ocean. You've got to be ready. And so we really push our delegates to just find the way that the best way that they want to communicate, and teach them also relevant skills when it comes to media training. And I'm getting ready to wrap up here, but one of the other really important aspects of our program is to seek diversity in the space and to continue to showcase young individuals who are from all backgrounds, from you know, every different parts of the country, and give them an opportunity to be involved. For myself, as an African-American, you know, young woman who has been in the space for a long time, I'm ready to see more open doors for those who have not generally been included. And that is extremely important for Sea Youth Rise Up. And we want to continue to showcase just brilliant, excellent individuals who are doing a lot of work for our oceans and for our planet. And some of you may know these two young ladies, but this is Melody and Isabel from Bye Bye Plastic Bags, and they're based in Bali, Indonesia. But I put this picture in here because they're really the vision of what we hope for our See Youth Rise Up delegates. They have taken such an incredible leadership role by creating their own organization in their home in Bali, but also leveraging global visibility and continuing on their mission with such strong focus and just taking advantage of the opportunities that they've been presented with over the last couple of years and really making a difference. And so we hope that all of our delegates will leave the program, and feeling empowered to do similar things like this, but in their own style and what's effective for their own community. So I'm really grateful to be a part of this team, and we were honored with an award back in 2017 at the World Ocean Festival from esteemed guests from the United Nations. The Changing Tide Award was given to us because we were creating something that was changing the way that we engage youth, and we hope that See Youth Rise Up serves as an example and inspiration for many other organizations to create opportunities like this for their young people. So this program wouldn't be possible without the support of our partners, and we're really grateful for the UN Environment, Johnson Ohana Foundation, the Ocean Foundation, National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, and acknowledging the three founding partners, Big Blue and You, Youth Ocean Conservation Summit, and the Ocean Project. It's been a tremendous adventure over the last 3 years, and I'm looking forward to seeing what will come in the future. And the final thought I want to leave you with is this idea of how we speak to our young people about the future of our planet. I think it's time to shift away from saying that we need to save the planet, because we all know that the planet will go on with or without us, but it's more about talking to our young people about stewardship and putting them in a position to be stewards. So they need to be equipped with the right tools, and by giving them access, mentorship, and information, they're able to make these critical decisions for their own future. And so thank you all so much for taking the time to be here with us today. And if you know any young people that might be interested in this program and participating in our 2019 initiative, we will have applications opening up in the coming weeks, and we'd love to connect with them. So check out our website, seeyouthriseup.org, for more info. We'll make sure to keep everyone aware when that application open date is. So thank you all so much. And here's my contact information, my email, and my social handle. Feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Danny. And we will move right on ahead to Rachael.
Hi, Rachael. Are you able to hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. As Rachael said, my name is also Rachael. Very convenient. And I am coming to you from the Vancouver Aquarium, which is located in British Columbia. I am part of OceanWise, which is an international ocean conservation organization. So while we're based in Vancouver, we do have initiatives that are spanning across BC, across Canada, and internationally with some of our partnerships and initiatives reaching all the way up to the Arctic. We also work with the Valencia Aquarium as well in Spain, and reaching across the world there. So we're incredibly excited to be adding to our collaborative list the Ocean Heroes Bootcamp, something that we're working with the Ocean Project, Big Blue and You, and a number of other organizations. So I'm going to chat with you about what the Ocean Heroes Bootcamp is, and specifically how you and your organization might be able to get involved as one of these youth initiatives that you could incorporate into your own programming. So the Ocean Heroes Bootcamp is a collaborative initiative that was originally conceived by the Captain Planet Foundation, Lonely Whale, and the Point Break Foundation, with the goal of empowering the next generation of ocean health leaders. The bootcamp is a 2-day intensive training program that empowers existing and emerging youth leaders to create their own campaigns in order to take action against ocean plastic pollution. And that's all in support of the UN Sustainability Goal 14.1 by 2025. So in order to activate youth year-round and globally, the OceanWise and the Ocean Project have collaborated together to create the Ocean Heroes Remote Network. So here are all the founding organizations to do with the Ocean Heroes Bootcamp as a whole. And I've had the pleasure of working with Rachael Coccia specifically to develop the remote network part of the Ocean Heroes Bootcamp. So based on the original bootcamp framework, we've designed a free open source curriculum to enable ocean health organizations, education institutions, and just passionate communities to implement the Ocean Heroes Bootcamp content seamlessly into their youth programs. And this is a network that is made up of zoos, aquariums, and science institutions around the world. At this time, we have 2 key resources, as which you can see on the screen, a student workbook and an educator's guide. The content consists of hands-on skills that will give students the ability and the power to make their own change. Next slide. The pillars of the programming are the science of plastic pollution, global policy, which the Ocean Project has been leading, as well as media literacy and digital media, which Danni is providing her expertise for, Activism, and campaign planning. So the booklet itself has these activities that can be used in youth programs, summer camps, volunteer programs, or however else you see it might be applying. And we do hope in the future that we'll be able to activate individual students who wish to really further their own skill set, as Danni was saying, and be able to tackle these kind of real life challenges head on. So as zoos, aquariums, and museums, you are, by the nature of your collections, immersive centers of learning. And through the Ocean Heroes remote network, we're giving youth those tools so that when they leave our doors, they're going to be heading out into the world as leaders of ocean health. They already have so much potential and a really fresh perspective that once we give them the skills they need, they're going to be able to change the world. So in terms of what this means for your organization, joining the remote network is very simple. It takes minimal commitment. We've already done most of the work for you. By letting us know you want to join in, you'll get those resources, the student workbook and the educator's guide, so that you can implement the content into your youth programs. Next slide. So these are some of the partners who have already joined in. Some of them are using it for their specific youth camps, such as leaders in training, such as youth councils that they have at their organizations. Others are going to be implementing it in their youth summer camps. The age range is from age 11 to 18, so there's quite a range that you could use it for. Members of the remote network have their logo on the Ocean Heroes website, and they'll also be highlighted as a member of the remote network through the Ocean Heroes media channels. And then this is also a marketing channel that the youth themselves may be highlighted on as their campaigns come to fruition. And for the youth that activate their campaigns, there are micro grants and mentorship opportunities available. Next slide. There we go. By joining the remote network, you are also joining the Ocean Heroes Bootcamp community as a whole. And there are lots of benefits that go along with that as well. We offer a scholarship for one representative from each site to join us at the in-person bootcamp. This year, the in-person bootcamp is being held in Vancouver, so along with the Vancouver Aquarium as part of OceanWise, and as well as at the University of British Columbia. It'll be held on June 28th to 30th, 2019. So if anyone's in town and would like to stop by, you are more than welcome to come say hi. We are really extremely excited to be a part of this collaborative program, not only to have the chance to work with international organizations who are equally passionate and enabled to tackle some of these issues, but also to get to work side by side with some incredible youth that really have this drive that just needs to be given a little bit of prodding and a little bit of mentorship. So to be able to offer these hands-on skills that will hopefully empower the youth to feel like they really can make a difference for their future, and then actively make those changes, not just talk, but also walking the walk that they're so passionate about. We are still evolving the program, and there's lots of room for growth and learning from each other as we continue to strive for the best ways to not only protect our oceans, but also know that the next generation have the ability to, as Danni said, be stewards for what they want to see the world look like. So if you have any questions about what this means or what it could potentially look like, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A window, or also if you'd like to email myself, which I'll put my email into the chat, or if email Rachael Coccia as well. We're more than happy to answer any questions and see how you might be able to be involved in this kind of program as well. This is a really good photo of just some of the, sorry, Rach. These are a good photo of just one of the examples of those hands-on activities. So here they are looking specifically at the science of plastic breakdown. One of the things is looking at a sample of microplastics and seeing what kind of plastics they are. So we're determining the source of the problem essentially. And so that's just one example of how we get the students working with each other, as well as really experiential learning so that they're figuring out how this works by getting their hands dirty essentially.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rachel, and thanks actually to both of our guest speakers today, Danni and Rachel, and to all of you for tuning in. I hope this sparked some new ideas for empowering your local youth and got you thinking about more ways that you can engage them, but also getting excited about these different opportunities that are out there. Youth truly are the leaders of today, and it's our job to connect them and give them a voice in front of policy and corporate decision makers. And we must do this. I mean, it's not just for them, it's for the future of the ocean, the planet, and really all living things. So yeah, if you do have any questions now, please feel free to drop them, like Rachel mentioned, into the Q&A, and we can get a discussion going. If you think of anything else after the call, please reach out to me. My email is on the screen. I'd also love just to hear about the ways that you're engaging the young people at your zoo and aquarium so that we can think about ways that we can further connect our efforts as well. So thank you so much. We'll go ahead and give it a couple minutes to see if anyone has any questions. And if you're having trouble finding the Q&A, you can always drop a question into the chat as well, and we can find it there. Yes, so we will, this webinar was recorded, and so we will be putting a recording up as well as a PDF of the slides on the Ocean Project's website, but we'll be sending that follow-up around to everyone as well. Okay, so we have a question about from Karen Burns. What's the most successful way to get the word out to youth about these programs? Danni, you want to start with See Youth Rise Up, and then we can have Rachel go?
Sure. So I think the most successful methods that we've used in the past, social media is definitely a great tool, but really we began by reaching out to our own network. So through Bill Mott and all of his contacts throughout ZAM's network, as well as Sean, we just reached out directly to see if there was any interest. And then from there, we were able to also use our former delegates, the alums. They were able to help us as well, reaching out to other individuals. So that's been our most successful way of contacting and spreading the word about See Youth Rise Up.
Great. I can add to that as well. I think the social media definitely helps a lot with getting youth specifically because they're looking for things that they're interested in, and so that follows the same vein of thought. At OceanWise, we also will utilize a lot of our teacher networks. So we've been spending the last couple of years building relationships with local districts as well as other organizations that have those networks with teachers. And so that's really helpful because we get marketing in the classrooms as well as we get passionate teachers who want to be involved and teachers who will then highlight students or reach out to their students directly. And we find that that relationship also has been quite successful in bringing students into the program.
Great, yeah, and I'm just gonna third that sounds like networks are really a key to that, tapping into your professional networks, but also the youth that you know. And if you get a young person involved in one of your programs and they're excited about it, they're gonna share it with their friends, and it just kind of expands from there. So yeah, thanks so much. Let's see, we have a question about how do you recruit students to these programs? So kind of similar, but I don't know if Danni, Rachel, you had anything specific about recruiting?
In terms of recruiting, I think it helps that we can utilize our own programs. So many zoos and aquariums already have camps and youth teams and school programs and things like that. So we'll also tap into those networks and have the opportunity to talk directly to the youth themselves and say, look, if you're interested in this, this is a way you can keep going. And hopefully with the friendships and the relationships they've formed in the camps, we can then kind of get them to hop, skip, and a jump to another program and another program. And especially when you're working with an older demographic, I find that they're it's a much easier for them to then approach their own parents and say, I want to do this. And parents are keen to see, yes, more opportunities, etc. So that's another opportunity that might serve is just focusing on the programs you already have running.
Yes, and with See Youth Rise Up, we've been able to utilize video as a really big tool, because we require that all of our applicants who are interested to submit their own video, recording themselves talking about a specific question that we ask within the application. And then we're able to get a feel for, just their on-camera skills, what are they most passionate about, and that really helps with recruiting.
Excellent. So Stephanie was asking how we got the word out about the first Ocean Heroes Boot Camp, and if we mostly partnered with, used our partner organizations. So Rachel, I know that first boot camp came together very last minute, and so the promotion for that was really short, and we kind of did a big push for that. Do you have any specific insight in how that first boot camp really got the word out?
Yeah, it was very, very last minute. And what we did in that instance is we work with a number of organizations who already have those networks established. So for example, with the remote network, the first year, we partnered with an organization called the Center for Global Education, which is a Canadian-based organization. And as they already have this network of classrooms, they reached out to that network and pulled in a couple classrooms that way. So even if you yourself may not have that network, I find it's useful that because someone you partner with might have it as well. So don't freak out if you don't have that own network. There's lots of people within the community that might be able to collaborate, and it's a really great, beautiful thing about collaboration in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Great. So the Woodland Park Zoo is wondering, they're interested in the facilitator and student guides for the boot camp, and they're wondering how they can get more information on accessing those.
Great question. I'm more than happy to send them directly, and you can have a look through them to see how you would like to utilize them. So I've popped my email into the chat. Feel free to send me a note or send it to Rachael Coccia as well, and we can send you the downloads directly so you can have a look.
Yeah, absolutely. They're free to use. We definitely will love to get some feedback as well, as this is our first year pushing them out. So I'm sure we'll be making edits and adjustments as we go along. So yeah, absolutely. Just let us know, Rachael or I, if you'd like to see any more information on the bootcamp stuff. Cool. I guess it's just a final comment here. We have Tom Adams. He made a comment about being, as a former congressional staffer, he wants to assure everyone that youth visitors who are educated about an issue are among the most effective advocates, because their parents vote and they are the future, but they are the future voters. And he wanted everyone to know that they do pay close attention to youth and they need to be very responsive to them. So important to get that message across to your young people, that they actually do have quite a lot of influence when it comes to policy. And there's a whole section on that as well in the Ocean Heroes Bootcamp student and facilitator guide. So please do reach out to myself, Danni, Rachael, if you would like any more information, any ideas on collaborating. We really look forward to working with all of you more into the future. Let's see, we got one last question about if youth need to pay their own way to participate in the program, including travel and registration. Do you want to take that, Rachael?
Yeah, definitely. So the registration is free. It's free for anyone to apply. And when they do so, they can also apply for either a partial or a full travel scholarship. Those are based on funding. So the more funding, the more scholarships we can offer. And that will also be an opportunity to hopefully pay either partial or full of the travel for the students. During the bootcamp itself, the room and board and food is all included, and it is a free workshop. So if they do not get a travel scholarship, if they can pay their way to get to the location, which it will change every year, then they will still get the room and the food all included in the free weekend. So really it would have just come down to travel if they do not qualify or do not receive a travel scholarship.
Great, thank you.
And in regards to See Youth Rise Up, the program is free for the delegates that are selected, and every year it's 7 delegates total. So it's a much smaller scale compared to the Ocean Heroes Boot Camp, but it's a lot more intense and it's within a span of 3 days. So, you know, it's all based on our funders and our partners who are able to provide that for us. But each year it's been really successful in just allowing the young, our delegates to focus on the task at hand and not have to worry about external, obstacles. So it's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then so we have the Denver Zoo wondering how Arizona Sonora Desert Museum is connecting their audiences successfully to the ocean. I don't know, Rachel, do you have some thoughts on that as being one of our remote network partners this year?
And personally, I'm incredibly excited to see that Arizona jumped on, and they've been by far our keenest participants so far. They keep sharing photos and what they're doing. I'm personally very happy about this because I think that the landlocked areas are actually one of the most important communities that we need to be targeting when it comes to the ocean, especially when you think of simply the water cycle and how water travels across the globe. Everyone is connected to the ocean. It kind of comes back to ocean literacy. And so having a landlocked community like Arizona participating is really impactful, hopefully. Rachael, you might be able to speak more just because you've had a few more conversations with them than I have, but they've been using their it's a small group size, and they've been focusing on plastic bottles in the community. So I know they're doing a fundraiser soon, which they're going to be, thanks to donations, handing out reusable plastic water bottles to try and eliminate, specifically targeting behavioral. It's a behavioral campaign, to my knowledge.
Yeah, and they're also going to be making a life-size sculpture out of plastic of a cactus, but it's going to be colored blue to make that ocean connection. So they've really, come up with some pretty creative ways to connect their work to the ocean and get the students excited about the fact that even inland communities, rely on and can affect the health of the ocean. So we will be getting more feedback from them as they complete their Ocean Heroes Bootcamp Remote Network program. So we will be sure to put any feedback that we get into public blog posts and things like that, so you can think about other ways to, continue engaging your youth, no matter where you're located, inland or on the coast. Excellent. Okay. I think that is it. So thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Again, we will have both the recording and the PDF of the slides available if you'd like to share those out or take another listen. And really appreciate it and look forward to working with all of you.